Alright, my potty people, today we are looking at the vertex form of a quadratic. We have learned standard form thus far. Again, standard form excuse me, is ax squared plus bx plus c. Today we are learning vertex form, which is a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. Okay, and again, a is going to be a number, h is going to be a number, and k is going to be a number. Okay, so all numbers today that we are looking at. So again, to review, a, which is the number in front of my vertex form, or which is the number in front of my x squared term in standard form, okay, a tells me whether the parabola is going to open upward or if it's going to open downward. Okay, if a is positive, it opens up. If a is negative, it opens down, right? So my parabola would look like this, or my parabola would look like this. Now, with that being said, if a is positive, if it opens up, then the vertex has a minimum. If a is negative, if it opens downward, then the vertex has a maximum. In the vertex form, there's a reason we call it vertex form, because it gives you the vertex. Okay, so if I'm looking here, I have three variables that I've never seen before, right? A, h, and k. These are my vertex. Okay, and now it is opposite h and then k. So what I mean by that is it is the negative of the x term or the h term to get the x value of my vertex, and then the k term is the y value of my vertex. So h corresponds with x and k corresponds with y. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at this number right here and take the opposite of it and then take the k to get your vertex. And again, the reason we're calling it vertex form is because it gives me my vertex. Quick review on the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry splits the parabola into two congruent parts. The axis of symmetry is written as x equals negative b over 2a. And then the axis of symmetry is the x coordinate of the vertex, because again, the axis of symmetry goes through the vertex. I could say it is the opposite h, because again, I'm sorry guys. Again, it is the x value. Okay, sorry, you can't see what I'm looking at. It is the x value. The h is the x value. And then the value, or the maximum or minimum, is the lowest or the highest the parabola will go. Okay, so that is going to correspond with your range. The maximum or minimum is written as y is greater than or equal to, or y is less than or equal to. Okay, and again, this will be the k value, or the y value of your vertex. The max or min is the y coordinate of the vertex. So the max or min is k. And then find y-intercept. How do I find y-intercept? I'm going to substitute in 0 for x and solve. So let's look at example number 1. Example number 1, I have the vertex form, x plus 3 squared plus 4. So again, this is h, this is k. A is 1 because a is out in front, so there's an understood 1. So I've listed it out for you. A is 1, h is 3, and k is 4. Now let's look at why h is 3. Okay, it's a positive 3. It's a negative 3, Coach Sapp. You have a typo. It's a negative 3. My fault, guys. It's a negative 3. Now let's look at why it's a negative 3. Because again, let's go back to our vertex form. Our vertex form is y equals a parentheses x minus h. So if you plug in a positive number right here, it's going to stay minus. The problem is, in my example, it's a plus. So the only way for me to get that to be a plus sign is I had to plug in a negative number. So that's a h is negative 3. I'm going to change that for your paper, so when you watch this video, you will have the correct number right there. Alright, and now, so I'm looking at the graph. A value is positive 1, so it's going to open upward. The vertex is A. If it's opening upward, it looks like this right here, so the vertex is going to be a minimum. And then the vertex will be at opposite h. Okay, so opposite h, again, this is the h value, so negative 3, and then k, so 4. Okay, that's what I meant, guys. So h is 3. No duh. Okay, but in order to find the vertex, you're going to take the opposite h. Okay, so don't let me freak you out. Okay, again, how did I get negative 3 for my vertex? This is a minus h. Right now it's a plus 3. So your vertex is at negative 3. Okay, because again, a minus minus makes it a positive. Axis of symmetry is the x value of your vertex, so x equals negative 3. The domain is going to be all real numbers. Okay, let me go ahead and plot the vertex. The vertex is at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We know that the parabola is going to open upward. So it's going to look like that. The range is written as an inequality is going to be, here's the lowest point, so it's going to be y is greater than or equal to 4. Let's go to example number 2. Example number 2, I have y equals negative 3, parentheses 2x minus 4 squared plus 5. Okay, so in this case, here is a, here is h, here is k. I know that a is a negative 3, so it's going to open downward. The vertex is going to be a maximum because the graph is opening downward. So the vertex is at opposite h, so a negative 4. Okay, so positive 4. Because again, it's already a negative in the vertex form. So if it stays a negative, it's a positive. Okay, and then k, which is 5. The axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 4. The domain is once again going to be all real numbers. And the range is going to be y is less than or equal to the y value of my vertex, which is 5. Now let's look at how to convert vertex form back into standard form. So converting vertex form back into standard form. What this is, okay, this is a binomial squared, meaning I have 2 of these binomials. Right, so really I could say that I have y equals x plus 3, x plus 3, and then plus 4. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply these 2 binomials with the FOIL or the box method. I don't care, you do you, boo-boo. And then if there's a leading coefficient, then you'll distribute that in, and then you'll combine like terms. So I'm looking at number 1. You're going to take this and FOIL or box it out. I'm going to FOIL it, so I've got x times x. That gives me x squared. X times 3 is a positive 3x. Another positive 3x, and then positive 9. You've got a plus 4 at the end. There is no leading coefficient, so now we're going to combine like terms. Like term, like term. So I get y equals x squared plus 6x plus 13, because I'm combining 9 and 4 also. There it is in standard form. Wow, that's hard. Alright, so if I want to rewrite number 2, like I kind of did over here, it would be y equals negative 3, parentheses. Remember, I have 2 of these, so 2x minus 4 and 2x minus 4, and then plus 5 at the end. So again, I'm going to multiply these, then I'll distribute in the negative 3, and then I'll combine like terms. So FOIL these, 2x times 2x is a 4x squared. 2x times a negative 4 is a negative 8x, another negative 8x, and then a positive 16. Now I put that in parentheses because this whole piece is multiplied by negative 3. So you've got y equals negative 12x squared, a positive 24x, another positive 24x, and then minus 48. Now we're going to combine like terms, so I'm going to combine the 24 and the 24. So I get y equals negative 12x squared plus 48x, And now I'm combining the numbers. I get minus 43. I want to convert from vertex form, from standard form to vertex form. So now I want to do the opposite. I'm going to take the standard form and I'm going to go to the vertex form. Step number 1 is you're going to find your x value of your vertex using x equals negative b over 2a. And again, we're going to list out a, b, and c. Then once I find that, I'll plug in my x value to find my y value of vertex. When you've found your y value of your vertex, all you're going to do is plug it into this form. So in this case, number 1, I've got 2x squared minus 8x plus 3. The 2 is the a value, negative 8 is the b value, c is equal to 3. So I'm plugging into the formula x equals negative b over 2a. And again, I'm going to go and put parentheses around the b and around the a to keep my signs straight. So x equals negative, and I'm plugging in a negative 8 in the parentheses because that's what b is equal to, over 2 times 2. So on the top you've got a negative 8, that gives me positive 8. On the bottom you've got 4. So x is equal to 2. So we know right now that our x value of our vertex is 2. To find the y value, you're going to take 2 and plug it in place of x. So I've got 2 times x squared, again I'm plugging in 2, minus 8 times 2 plus 3. 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16, and then plus 3. So 8 minus 16 is a negative 8, plus 3 is a negative 5. So my vertex is at 2, negative 5. Okay, so now I know that a is equal to 2. I know that h is the x value of my vertex, which is 2. So a equals 2. H is the x value of my vertex, which is 2. And then k is equal to negative 5. So you're plugging into this form. Y equals a, parentheses, x minus h squared plus k. Alright, so now I'm going to erase what we can plug in. We know that a is 2, so I'm going to erase a, and I'm going to put 2. We know that h is positive 2, so I'm erasing the h, and I'm plugging in 2. We know that k is a negative 5, so I'm erasing that, and I'm putting minus 5. Last but not least, here I've got a is equal to 3, b is equal to 6, and c is equal to negative 1. So negative b over 2a is equal to negative 6 over 2 times 3. So negative 6 over 6 gives me a negative 1. So the vertex has negative 1 for my x value. We're going to take that, we're going to plug it in place of x. So 3 times negative 1 squared plus 6 times negative 1 minus 1. Negative 1 squared is a positive 1, times 3 is a positive 3. 6 times negative 1 is a negative 6, and then minus 1. So 3 minus 6 is a negative 3, minus 1 is a negative 5. So now we know a is still 3. We know h is the x value of my vertex, which is a negative 1, and k is a negative 4. And again, we're plugging into the formula y equals a, parentheses, x minus h squared plus k. So let's erase the a and let's plug in a. We know that a is 3. Actually, let's do this. That's going there. That's going there. That's going there. So I've got y equals a, 3, x minus h minus negative 1 squared, and then minus 4 in place of k. Now, once again, this minus negative becomes positive, which is, again, is how I get a plus sign in between. And so there is your vertex form.